Middle East and the United States' reaction to what exactly is going on in the Middle East. Now, the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken has urged Hamas to accept Israel's latest proposal for a truce in Gaza. Blinken has called this ceasefire deal an extraordinarily generous proposal to secure a release of hostages. Now, Hamas negotiators were expected to meet Qatari and Egyptian mediators in Cairo to deliver a response to the truce proposal. Blinken has now stated at a special meeting of the World Economic Forum that Hamas has before it a proposal that is extraordinarily generous on the part of Israel. And in this moment, the only thing standing between the people of Gaza and a ceasefire is Hamas. Let's in fact listen in to what he has said.
Quickest way to bring this to an end is to get to a ceasefire and the release of hostages. And as you said, there's been an extraordinary effort that's been made, and I really want to thank profoundly our friends from Qatar and Egypt who've been playing an instrumental role in trying to get this ceasefire and release of hostages. A major effort that's been made over the last couple of months to get to that ceasefire, to get the hostages out. And right now, as you said, Hamas has before it a proposal that is extraordinarily generous on the part of Israel.
We've heard what Secretary Blinken has to state. My colleague Arzu Said joins us on the broadcast with further details on this. Arzu, over to you.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that the Israel must still do more to increase the flow of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip, and he would use his Middle East trip, his seventh, or to the region since the Israel-Hamas war started in October, to press that the case with Israeli leaders. Speaking at event in Saudi Arabia's capital, Blinken said that the best way to ease the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza would be to conclude an inclusive ceasefire agreement, which would also release Israeli hostages held by the Hamas since its October 7th attack launched the war. Hamas has been presented with an extraordinary generous offer by Israel that he hoped that group would accept. He said Hamas has before it's a proposal that is extraordinary generous on the part of Israel, and in this moment, the only thing standing between the people of Gaza and ceasefire is Hamas, he said at the World Economic Forum gathered. Yes.
All right, Arzu, with that, I would like to thank you for joining us on the broadcast, sharing all those details. But we also have this morning Mr. Robinder Sachdev, International Affairs expert. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us on NewsX. Israel has made a fresh proposition to Hamas at this point, and this has been backed by the United States of America. They have offered a fresh deal for a ceasefire if Hamas returns its hostages. Now, U.S. has termed this as extremely generous. And I'd like to remind our viewers that US also towards the end did end up buckling to international pressure and supported the UN resolution for a ceasefire as well. And now there is negotiations that are underway with the Qatari and Egyptian mediators, and Blinken is in Saudi Arabia at the moment. He will be participating in a meeting regarding the Gulf Cooperation Council with regards to global security and regional security in particular. Do you think, Mr. Sachdev, that the Hamas will accept this olive branch or not?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sure, please. Yeah, I mean, one doesn't know, but I can say a couple of things, For Israel, actually, it's a very tough situation if it accepts a ceasefire. Right now, what has been is being discussed apparently is that I don't know how generous. I mean, Blinken may say it's extremely generous. Hamas may say it's extremely stingy, right? So it's what they're saying and how Hamas reacts. But the point is, what's been discussed apparently are two phases. In the first phase, Hamas will release around 30 to 33 or so Israeli hostages in exchange for, I think, maybe 6 weeks of a cease pause kind of a thing, and then in that. Subsequently, they're calling it a sustainable calm, not a ceasefire. They're saying that with the first phase, we will try to introduce a sustainable calm, which effectively means, total stoppage. Now, in this scenario, if you see, so if let's say there's a ceasefire for 4 weeks and there is sustainable calm, if it comes about, Israel has lost. Netanyahu would be losing because Netanyahu says that there are still Hamas military battalions which we need to take out for our long-term security. Forget the initial objective which they started that we will, completely eliminate the Hamas military militias. We will totally eradicate the Hamas political machinery and we will get all our hostages back. So for Israel to accept the terms of this ceasefire is a very, very tall order also, right? They've not been able to get back their hostages. They've not been able to finish off, the Hamas military wing, forget the political wing. So, but yes, Israel is under pressure. And the thing is that, while these talks are going hither, thither and all, on the ground, there are two things happening. See, these are the conversations happening. But on the ground in Gaza, every day, the grinder of Israeli military is moving on. So the situation definitely is very, very sensitive, very crucial right now. But honestly, one does not know that if this ceasefire that they're talking, which is a very, very extraordinary, generous, according to Blinken, if this would be accepted by Hamas, and if we will see a pause in the fighting. I don't know. The jury is out, I think.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.